In this video, we want to create an invoice and we also want to pay the invoice. We'll also be looking at some of the accounting transactions that will be generated from this invoice creation and payment process. So from the payables section within the navigator, select Invoices. And this will open the Invoices page. On the left hand side of the page, you have the tasks that you can perform. You've also got an area where you can search for invoices and also view the reports and analytics. You've also got the area in the overview which allows you to scan, to look at scanned invoices in the scanned invoices in the queue. This is coming in from the scanning machine, and also any recent invoices that you've generated, you could actually view them. You can also view invoices requiring attention. It could be invoices that are pending approval from others. It could be invoices on hold for various reasons. It could be due to distribution hold. It could be to amount holds and some other reasons. You've also got a section where you could view your prepayments and also the process monitor. So I'm just going to minimize this invoices requiring attention area so you can see the process monitor. So from here you can view what is happening regarding transfers to general ledger, reports that are run, and so on. So first we're going to create an invoice, so select the create invoice link. You can also create invoices using spreadsheet as well. So select the create invoice link. It brings up the create invoice page, and you can select the business unit. So from the list of values or the drop down list, I'm going to select the US1 business unit. The supplier, I'm going to use Advanced Corp, so I'm just going to type in part of the name and the rest will be searched for me automatically. So Advanced Corporation, and the supplier number and the site should be automatically populated, and also the legal entity. So invoice number, this is the invoice number from the supplier, so INV-1005 is the invoice number, and the amount is 1095.00. So that's our invoice for $1,000 plus £95 $95 for taxes. We can also enter the invoice date. So the invoice date could be I'm just going to enter that the invoice date was the 26th of October. Payment terms is immediate, and we've got the terms date. So terms, that's the date in which the payment terms will start to be calculated just in case we've got discounts and so on that we can apply. So next we want to enter the invoice line. So I'm going to select add row in the line section to add a line to my invoice, and I'm going to enter the amount, which is 1,000. I've also got other things that I can enter. For example, the distribution, I can enter the distribution combination. So I'm going to enter the distribution combination, which I can also select from my list of values. So if I select my list of values, it will default some of the accounts that we have. So for example, company 101, line of business 10. So this is for stationaries, so 63580. The cost center, I'm going to use 120. So let's select my division for US. So if I actually delete these, just to show you a functionality, and I click on OK, or sorry, click on search, the system will search for me all the possible combinations that are enabled. If dynamic insert is switched on, you can create your combination automatically. But in this instance, I'm just going to select 63580, 63580, which is not in my list, so I'm just going to scroll down. 63580 is there, so I'm going to click on OK, and that will automatically enter my distribution combination. Other things that you can look at, so you've got the distribution, you've got the reference section here, you've got tax here, You got purchase order on the right hand side, but there are other areas. For example, the asset. So if I click on asset link, it moves across so I can see the asset. If I want to track this as an asset, I can, and also project details. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to validate the invoice. I can actually do the calculate tax first, and this will generate the tax transactions. At the moment, you can see a yellow icon on my totals. This is telling me that my invoice is out of balance because I haven't calculated tax. So if I go to invoice actions and select calculate tax, this will calculate the tax due on the invoice based upon the rules in my tax engine, and this icon will disappear. So there you go. So it's calculated my tax. You can see my standard rate 3% is using my city, county, and state, which is based in the US, and that's how it's calculated my tax. My city tax 3%, my state tax, which is 6.5%, which is making a total of 9.5% for my tax in that area. So validation, it's saying that it's never validated. So I'm going to go to my invoice actions and validate the invoice. This will check for a number of things, whether my distribution line is okay and so on, whether a hold needs to be placed on the invoice. So I've just run a validation and it said validated yes. So now its validation is now validation. It doesn't require approval, otherwise it will trigger invoice approval when I save and decide to take it to the next level. Let me save it for now. And what I'm going to do is not accounted, so I'm going to run the accounting invoice actions. I'm going to account and post to GL. What should happen here, I should have a debit to my expense account and a credit to my liability account. Expense will include my tax if it's recoverable or non-recoverable. So it's created the accounting, and what I want to do is I want to view the accounting, so I can go to invoice actions and I can view the accounting. So this is the accounting. I've got my debit, my expense debit, and my liability credit. So if I click on my T accounts, just to view the T accounts, I'm able to see the accounting. So there we go. So that's my T accounts in the old-fashioned green and white striped paper, and you can see the view showing the debits for my office supplies. So that's my account at the top here, office supplies, and my credit to my AP liability account. So I'm going to click on done. So we've created the invoice, we've generated the accounting, the transfer's gone to the general ledger. I can go to general ledger and view the transaction in GL. So to do that, I'm just going to switch to general ledger. So I'm just going to go back to my navigator, select my journals in my general accounting. There is a process that runs in the background to transfer the transaction to general ledger. So if I'm now in the GL, I'm now in my journals. So first of all, I need to change my data access set to my US journal, also to my US primary ledger, and click on OK. So I'm now going to, so that's, now you can see the panel has changed. One incomplete, process monitor, last 72 hours. This is some of the errors. So if I want to say status all in the last hour, just the last hour, let's see what's come through. Refresh. So this is my journal that has come through. 1406 import journals, post journals, and this is my journal that has come through from the sub ledger. So if I wanted to, so it was done using an online it was posted online, which means that I did it not using the concurrent program, but I did it. I did it, the journals entry to GL from the AP online accounting generator. Actually, is using the tab, the accounting transaction accounting builder, and then that's then links into my SLA, my sub ledger accounting, and then that then transfers the records using the create accounting into general ledger. So it's posted in GL, so I can actually view the posted journals. This is my process ID. Let's see if there's anything else I can put in my columns, so I can see start time, completion time, and all that. So let me just click on show all, see if there's anything else. Right, there you go. So it's telling me that I'm the one that's kind of kicked this off here as well. So let's search for my journals. Let's go to manage journals. I just want to show you the journals here. Accounting period will be October. Actually, let me just say I want accounting period October. So 10-15. Source will be payables. So let's get everything that's coming from payables. So search for source, which is pay. Click on search. So my payables, click on OK. And I'm going to click on search. So that should be a few journals that has come through. This is the journal here, 1095, and I'm going to click on the journal just to view the journal. There we go. So the journals come through in summary mode. You can see the credit, so the credit to my liability account and my debit to the expense. It's my expense debit. So that's the information that has come through from the sub ledger. So what I'm going to do now is pay the invoice. So I'm going to go back to payables. I'm going to go into my invoices. I want to pay the invoices directly from the invoice itself. In another video, I'll show you how to pay the invoice from the invoice, the payments workbench. So let's go to manage invoices, search for my invoice. I could actually have searched for my invoices from the left here. Actually, let me search for it from here. And I think it was INV percentage. Supplier was advance. And I'm going to click on supplier advance corporation. Oops. Party name, ADV percentage, search, advance corp. Click on OK. And my supplier site, let me just search here. So that's going to bring back quite a few invoices, I believe. Oh, right. Okay. So I've got my invoices. So this is my invoice. Unpaid, 1,095. So I'm just going to click on the invoice, invoice number 5. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pay it. You can see some information on the right hand side here. For example, I've got items, tax, subtotal, and so on. So I've got some of the information here. So this is my invoice. It's my invoice line. Just to view the invoice, you can see the invoice details here. So now I want to pay the invoice. It hasn't got any holes, no approvals, no payments against it, no installments. And let's go back to my lines. So I'm going to go to actions and I'm going to select pay in full. Pay in full. So I want to pay the invoice in full. The bank account Payment method is electronic. It's got that from the supplier side. So bank account, I'm going to pay this from the Bank of America, and I'm going to use a payment process profile. I'm going to use ANSI X12. Payment document that I'll be using will be check. It will give me a check number 1825, and I think he uses that for the transaction number as well. And I'm just going to click on submit. So that generates the payment, and it will generate a file which is sent to the server, and the bank then picks it up from there. So now you can see that the status is paid. So this is real time. If I go to payments, I can now see that this is paid. You can see that it's paid. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to use the second method of the create accounting. I'm going to use the create accounting using not doing it directly from actions, which I'm going to create accounting from you running the program. So I'm going to select the create accounting so that I want the transactions to go to GL, which is my debit, my liability account, because once we've paid it, it's no more liability, and credit my cash. No, well, not my cash clearing, because it then needs to be reconciled in cash management. So my sub-ledger application that I want to run the create accounting for is payables. I'll select payables. The ledger is my US ledger, US primary ledger. And process category, I'll just leave it blank so that it'll do it for invoices and payments. And I'll do it from today. Accounting mode final, process, everything. Reporting style, I want it to be detailed. I want to see a bit more information. I want to transfer to GL, post to GL. Batch number, I'm just going to call it YO-1825. I think that was the check number. I've got some other options here. Processing options. Again, this is mainly for delivery. Well, processing options, not delivery, but the language and format and so on. Advanced, I can decide to schedule this to run at a future date. So I can decide that I want to schedule this to run frequent, maybe daily, and so on. I may want to run my payments, so my create accounting on every day maybe at out of hours and so on. But I'm going to run this as soon as possible. Notification, I could decide that I want to notify someone when this is complete. So I could go in here and create a recipient and select a condition when there is maybe is success, warning, or an error. So I'm not going to do any of this. So once I'm happy with my parameters, and I could say notify me when this process ends, but again, I don't want another notification. I'm just going to submit, and that submits the concurrent program. The program, which is 749485. So I'm going to click on OK. So this would generate processes. So if I go to process from my navigator, which is under tools, scheduled processes, and this will give me a list of all the processes that are running. You can see that it's already kicked off. It's done the create accounting, and then it's kind of starting all of this. So if I refresh this, so create accountings is running. You can see that this now spawns a sub process which is creating the journal entries, and also sub processes. It's going to generate some reports as well. And let's just refresh this just to see. Yeah, it's now doing the journal import. And let's just continue to see what's happening. It's posting the journals for the single ledger. Let's just continue. It's maintaining the trial balance report. So it's quite a few bits and pieces that it's doing there. It's now running the create accounting execution report that tells us a bit about what is happening, and also update subledger accounting balances. So Now there was something I was meant to show you earlier on when we made the payment. There was another report that was run. This is the format payment files. So just to show you an example of that. So that succeeded, and it's got an attachment to it. So you've got a log file and a text file. If there's any errors, you can actually view this file to view any errors. So, but that's fine. And so let's continue. Let's just refresh. So create accounting execution reports finished. This generates, creates a PDF file. So this is a PDF file, and I could actually view the PDF file. Let's have a look. So that's my PDF file here. And let me just, I can save this locally if I want. I could print it out if I want. So I could print it as an output file somewhere. View that if I wanted to. So this is what it looks like. So that's my account, create account and execution report. This is for my payment. You can now see that it's debited my liability, credited my cash clearing. So that's generated all the transactions that I expected it to do. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go to General Ledger just to view those transactions in General Ledger. So I'm going to go back to my journals. And I'm going to search. Just make sure that you're in the correct data access set. Where am I? I'm going to go into Manage Journals. Let's have a look. And I'm going to look for journals, source payables. Search payables. And accounting period equals 10/15. So let's do a search. I should have an extra one for my 1050. This is for my payment. So that's my payment which has come through. That's my batch number Y01825. I could actually have searched, actually if I click on add fields, I could actually put in batch description and other additional fields for my search. So let's open up the journal. That's my journal for my payments. And you can see my debit to my liability account and my credit, this is to my cash clearing account. There we go, good. So that's it for creating an invoice and checking the accounting transactions, also doing the transfer to General Ledger, and also viewing some of the reports that has been generated. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.